So, welcome to the second part of my STEM story. And last time we talked all about how did I, come to exist? What does my name mean? A little story about my childhood. And then now I wanted to take you guys on to part 2 of talking a little bit about a wonderful time in my life where I got to participate in a very coveted competition, and I came to the United States in 2011 for that competition. So I really want to share a little bit about my college life and all the things I've learned by studying chemical engineering in India. So let's get started, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Hi there, this is Prasha Dutra, and I'm passionate about helping you unlock your true potential in your science, technology, engineering, and mathematics career and beyond. Less than a decade ago, I moved to the US from India to live my American dream. I took my engineering career to the next level by starting my own consulting and coaching company while thriving at my 9-to-5 job. Money, time management, career planning, and personal growth are all things we'll discuss here. From expert guests and their stories to my own lessons, this show is an ongoing masterclass in how to believe in your brilliance and conquer your STEM career with confidence. Get a pen and paper and get ready for an education you wish you had in school. This is Her STEM Story, the podcast. So this was year 2007, and in 2006 I gave my 12th exams. I did not qualify IIT JEE. I did not qualify AIEEE. My first rank was probably I think it was I don't even know, 200,000. That was my AIEEE rank, I think, for the first time. And it was disastrous. It was really sad because everyone thought I was such a smart kid. And I think all smart kids face this when they're the smartest in the class and then they go on to compete with the smartest kids in the world or in the country. Of course, they're not the smartest anymore. And I think that affects your confidence, that affects your, how you think about yourself, how you feel like a failure. And I think society has not learned how to handle this just yet. And that's why I think a lot of people also drop out of STEM careers, because everyone who is getting into STEM is usually really smart when they're growing up, because those are just how these standardized tests are set up, and that can really be demotivating, especially for girls, because first, girls feel things very differently than guys do, which is very personally and emotionally, and the way we process emotions is much different than how men do it. And then second of all, because we are always topping the classes, we are so good at it. We're so good in studies. We're always working hard. We're always doing good. Not to stereotype women, but women are good. When they set up goals, they really achieve them and they find ways to make it work. And so it was really a tough time for me to first understand I failed. Second, to manage expectations was impossible as a teenager in India growing up in early 2000s because the society was obsessed with IIT, obsessed with engineering, and I'm really grateful for it, but I'm also not grateful for the pressure I had to go through. It was really, really torturous, and it has definitely made me a better person, but I wouldn't wish that on anyone because it was not fun at all. But I somehow found a way. I actually dropped a year, went to Kota, which is a place where a lot of aspiring engineers go to study for these exams. So I took a gap year and really just did nothing with that gap year because I was trying to become someone I'm not. I'm not a genius, and I don't aspire to be one. So it was a really, really difficult time. And I didn't understand classes. I didn't understand what I was learning. I promised you I can't go back and tell you what I learned because it was just so out there. And the teaching methods were really, really stringent. We were studying from 7 a.m. classes to 7 p.m. classes. No laptops, no friends. I mean, we had friends, but no partying. No, it was just a very, very tough time as a teenager. I actually ended up getting into depression, and I really was not happy. I remember being unconscious for 3 to 4 days, I think, because I just couldn't do it anymore. And my body was like, I don't want to breathe anymore. It was really, really sad, really, really tough. And my mom came and, she brought me back home. And, I did my best for the second time of the exam. Still didn't qualify at all. Didn't even come close. And then in my AIEEE, I scored around 30,000 rank, which is still really, really bad. Really, really bad. But luckily, I found a college in Pune, which is Oxford of the East. And I somehow, and that's a story for another day, it was a really long journey to get that admission, and got into that school. And I finally decided to, study chemical engineering, and it was really great. The first year of college, I actually failed engineering design exam, and I got 23 out of 100. I remember giving it for reval, not telling my parents that I failed it. So, Mom, if you're listening, this is the first time you're finding out that I failed that exam. And then I gave it for reval, and I got my new score, and I actually passed. So reval is like reevaluation. So luckily, I was excited that I passed that exam. And then in the second year, I got involved with a bunch of people from mechanical engineering department who were working on some, aeroplane designs or mini micro aircrafts. And I decided to be a part of that team, lead that team actually, with a friend of mine. And we decided to go around the country and won many, many competitions on aero modeling. So from IIT Kharagpur to IIT Bombay to IIT, Chennai. So we went around the country participating in these competitions, which were technical competitions. And it was a great time. Learned so much about airplanes, materials, all kinds of stuff. Learned about taking risks and trying things, and I'm really glad that my parents were okay with it and teachers were okay with it. And then one thing led to another, like it usually does. And I found out this competition that happens every year in the US called SAE, which is Society of Automotive Engineers, and Aero Design. That's what it's called, SAE Aero Design. And there are two categories, two events, SAE Aero Design East and SAE Aero Design West. Our competition was SAE Aero Design West, which is west of Georgia, because the East was happening in Georgia and the West was happening in Texas. And so very, 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 very excited to be there and to actually get selected to participate. It was a really expensive thing because you not only had to create a airplane, a plane from scratch, which would meet the requirements. You were going to get judged by NASA and Lockheed, and then on top of it, you were supposed to pay for your travel. And mind you, none of us came from rich families. We didn't have the money to just pay for foreign ticket. I had never traveled abroad. It was really, really exciting. And through, just resilience and planning, we were able to first convince the college to send us. So being the first team from Pune to go, then we were able to convince the college to sponsor. Then we were able to convince a couple of sponsors to sponsor the event, so that we can have enough money to go. And we are so grateful. I am personally extremely grateful to my college, Vishwakarma Institute of Technology, VIT Pune. I will link the college in my bio, in the episode notes for you guys to check it out. And I am so grateful that they sponsored us. We went there and we won. I'll also tag the YouTube video so you can see the plane fly. It was a micro aircraft, so it was a certain size and it was supposed to be portable. And the way the problem statement worked, at least that year, was they gave us the dimensions of a box that the plane had to fit in. And that's all they gave. So they didn't tell us how big the plane should be. They just said the plane has to fit in this size box. And I'm telling you, it was so great to figure this out, because right now you have only one constant, and that is the size of the box. So it gives you a lot of creative freedom. And I think that project taught me so much about thinking out of the box. I'm air quoting here, but thinking out of the box, but also thinking about all kinds of resources that you need, managing those resources, managing expectations of the college, making sure you're doing everything right, expensing everything the way it should be, and just making, these decisions. And I felt like we were running this little corporation, It was a lot of fun. And I think that kind of freedom and that kind of project can really change the trajectory of your career, of your education, because those things don't exist, and we need kids to do more of that in college than just attend a bunch of classes and learn text from textbooks. Learning hands-on really made me so confident about trying different things and coming to US and participating with 38 other teams from around the world and winning the prize of the best aircraft in the micro design category was one of the most proud moments of my life. And I'm glad that my dad was actually alive at the time and he was following it live, and it was so exciting. I will never forget the first time I stepped foot on a plane that was headed to US. It is surreal, it is incredible, and that was my first time abroad. So I was just ecstatic. And because I came here, because I saw the opportunity, and because I saw how amazing United States was, I just wanted to move here. So that got me excited to prepare for my GRE. And trust me, even then I failed twice. I got really bad scores in my GRE and I gave it one more time and I finally got decent scores. Never got really good scores. I'm not someone who can pass standardized testing. I have just made peace with it. That's why I never went to pursue MBA through GMAT, because I personally don't think standardized testing is meant for people like me who are creative, who are bold, who are confident, and who may not be that great with certain style of thinking or answering questions in the way they're asked in some of these standardized tests. So I didn't do really well, but I also wanted to change my field, so go from chemical to I wanted to do aerospace engineering, of course. But it was really difficult to make that switch and get into good schools. So my recommendation to anyone who's trying to do a transition like this is to stay in your field. So if I could go back and do this again, I would go and apply for chemical engineering, get in the college, and then switch majors. That's the way to do it, because then you're actually being engaged on the stuff that you've done and your degree, your existing degree, and not on the fact that you're being transitioned. So they don't give weightage to those people. Even with this phenomenal project under my belt, I still wasn't the ideal candidate for a lot of great schools. So I ended up using my SAFE plus dream school. So I'll say this because UT Arlington is kind of a safe school. And for me, it was a safe school, but it was also special because Kalpana Chawla got her first degree from UT Arlington. She got her second degree from UC Boulder and University of Colorado in Boulder. And I knew from my GRE scores that I wasn't going to get that school. So I'm not the smartest kid. I never was, except for 10th grade. So I understand like the struggles that people face, especially women that we face day in and day out of our lives as smartest kids growing up and then not being the smartest kids getting into college. So life wasn't easy. It was tough, but I also took a lot of risks. So I really encourage you to use my story to motivate you to take those risks, own your failures and learn from them, and continue to be proud of wherever you're from, whatever colleges you're from. For a long time, I had this in my mind that I didn't go to the best schools, but I also knew that I'm a very special person. I remember in my interviews for the program that I was selected for right after college, right before college actually. And I remember someone from Georgia Tech walking towards me and they saw that I'm from UT Arlington and they turned around. They didn't even say hi because there is so much competition between schools and the names that you have in terms of the school names you have on you. And that made me feel really sad because my schooling does not define me. I define it. And I'm a really special person. I always remind myself that. So you're meant for great things, no matter how many times you fail IIT, no matter how many times you fail courses and projects, and no matter how many times you fall down, if you can keep getting up, all your dreams can come true. So I hope this part 2 of my story really helps you get motivated and own up to your struggles and challenges and become the best version of you. I will see you for part 3 very soon. Okay? Bye. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. See you again. Bye.